Hey everybody, how you doing out there? This is your Uncle Steve in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you for joining me on a Sunday evening, Sunday chill. We're just about open for anything today. It's been a while since we've been on, catching up on what's going on today, what's going on in the next 2 weeks, of course, with the Atlanta Falcons draft coming up, and pretty much anything's on the plate, man. Let's get it started and let's go. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your Uncle Steve here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. It is Sunday. It is April 14th, and we are here just chilling on a Sunday. Been a minute since I had a chance to come on. Of course, in the off season, it's always interesting when you start talking about most of our uh, broadcast pretty much centralizes around the ins and outs of the Atlanta Falcons. And quite honestly, there hasn't been quite a lot going on. I mean, if you talk about maybe a couple of what I call roster players that the Falcons have picked up over the last week or so, not a whole lot going on, but we are here to talk about it again. I think it's been, I want to say, was it 2 weeks today? The last time we were on, celebrated birthday for my daughter, who is embracing her teenagehood. So shout out to her on her happy birthday. And just now getting back into the swing of things here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. So if you are here on YouTube, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in with us. We're here. We're going to try to be here every Sunday if we can. Uh, but right now, we're open for anything, y'all. Falcons talk, Braves talk, Hawks talk. If you want to talk Hawks, that's a whole nother story. But anything we're just open to. Pop culture. I know there's been a lot about Caitlyn Clark in the news lately. If you all watched, got a chance to catch a glimpse of Saturday Night Live last night, they had a really cool little thing with her and Michael Shea on the show yesterday, what I thought was pretty funny. Just a whole lot of stuff to talk about. So whatever you want to discuss, throw it in the chat. We're gonna go there, um, and we'll get this thing started. As far as the Falcons are concerned, of course, we're now less than 2 weeks away from the draft, and I still have no idea what they're gonna do. And unlike the last couple of years, it's not this over saturated need that we're just saying, oh, we absolutely have to get. And I don't think a lot of fans will probably disagree. And of course, I'm coming from the fan standpoint, so I'm not going to come with you with uh, you know, this wealth of college football knowledge. I have a lot of friends who are much better than that than me. And be honest with you, I'm gonna let you in on a big secret. Not a secret to people that know me. I'm probably not the greatest mock draft person. I like participating and having fun with some of my guys. We did a mock draft about a month ago with my fellas, Big Low and Smitty and Berto and Chris and my man Jack Spade um, from One Time for the Fan. And that was fun. But to me, it's fun just because we get a chance to get together. But as far as probably the in and outs and things of that nature, man, I can, and I've done the machine. I've done the little machine 2, 3, 4 times. I I don't know. Maybe because when I get past the second round, quite honestly, I guess my uh intel about the guys aren't as much. That's when I turn into, just the fan that's gonna trust what we're doing. And I think that's where I am. I trust that Terry Fontenot and I'm trusting that Coach Raheem Morris have a plan to get those players they want to get. They did a couple of nice things in free agency. There is still quite a bit to get on this team, probably more defense than offense. But are you at a point where there's just one position that I don't know that you say no, stay away from? One of the reasons I brought this up, what's the name? God's name, Brian Baldinger, uh, the guy from used to be on Fox a lot, and he brought up the idea of drafting a quarterback at number 8. And I thought about it, and the first reaction would be, "Man, you got to be crazy, man! Y'all just paid $180 million, in theory, to Kirk Cousins, and you just emptied your wallets to get him. Why would you turn around and get a quarterback?" I don't know. Maybe it's not a bad idea. I'm not saying to do it. It wouldn't be my first choice, but are you actually going to be mad at that? Kirk Cousins is 36. And eh, who knows? He could hit the wall. Maybe he hits the wall this year. I don't know. I hope not after the investment we made. But I can't be upset if they go that route and get somebody to properly teach the young man how to be an NFL quarterback. So I wouldn't be upset at that at all. Now, going back to the reality button, we obviously still need some defensive help, whether it be defensive end, whether it be uh, the other corner on the other side of AJ. Are we really happy on the other side of the second safety on the team? Are we satisfied that Helms is going to stay in the spot? Is Richie Grant going to be sacrificed one more year on that side? I don't know. Maybe you find that person in the draft. So, is there any reason for me to just get stuck on one person, one position, and say, if we don't get that player, it's a failed draft? I don't think so. I think for the Atlanta Falcons right now, you're in a really good spot. And for one of the first times in a long time, I usually don't say this. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if they drafted back. I mean, they traded back. It wouldn't. Now you have to find somebody to trade back with. I think everybody just has the simple man, trade back. You got well, first you have to get a dance partner. And you have to get a dance partner that's going to give you something in return. You can't just take the first thing smoking, you know? You can't do that. So I just think it's, you have to be smart about it. So a couple of weeks from now, we'll learn together. We'll see what's going on. And hopefully the Falcons won't disappoint. But I'm just holding my breath. Last couple of years, I'm not. All 3 of the draft picks they got in the last 3 years were not the person that I thought they were going to get. Does it mean I'm not happy with Bijan, Drake, and Kyle? No, I'm not saying that. Well, Kyle could be. But let's see what's really going on as far as the Atlanta Falcons is concerned. Also in local sports, Atlanta Braves off to a kind of start. The Braves have spoiled us when they win 100 and almost 110 games for the last couple of years. A chip in between there. Heard the news about Spencer Strider gone. I know a lot of people are just jumping off the ship. But as you saw today, as long as we got bats in this lineup, we're gonna win 2 out of every 3, more than likely. Most series we're gonna win 2 out of 3, just because we can hit. Ozuna, last swing, you got to. If you're going to talk a little bit about the Braves, that's fine. Good news today. Atlanta Hawks scored 115 points. That's pretty good. I mean, actually, that's really good for an offense. Balanced scoring. Only problem is the other team scored 157, which sounds like something out of an all-star game. 157 points. Now, I know, forever optimists will say, Steve, but all we need is a chance. See what Miami did? Yeah. You're not going to win any games giving up 157 points. I don't care if you're the 4 seed, 3 seed, 2 seed. You got to be better than that. Atlanta Hawks are going to root for them all day, but I think what you saw today is probably, I don't know, probably a little glimpse into what you're going to see if they're fortunate to win against Chicago. I really think they might be able to beat Chicago, but I'm not sure they're going to get past Philadelphia or Miami this year. I know we got Miami last year. I don't know. We'll see. Caitlyn Clark talk. Haven't been around. I know y'all all got it out last week. Caitlyn Clark. What she really meant and means to the game of basketball for women. What she did for the college game, can that translate into the WNBA? That's going to be a tougher task. And is she going to be invited with open arms? I don't know. We'll see. I think it's an interesting story. Another cultural story that we don't like to talk about. I was thinking about it as I was watching Tiger go on the golf course today and obviously struggle. And Tiger doesn't need to worry about anything. Tiger's going to be fine. Tiger doesn't need to win another thing as long as he shows up. And it's kind of almost with Caitlyn Clark, the same thing. And if we think about it, let's not fool ourselves, folks. We're not colorblind. Tiger Woods, a black guy, kind of dominated in a predominantly white sport. And in Caitlyn Clark's case, a white woman dominated in a predominantly black sport, especially when you get to the WNBA. In college, it's a little bit different. But most of the best players are black. I'm not trying to play any games with that. I think in a lot of ways, there are a lot of people that rooted against that young lady because she's white and from Iowa, which is sad because it's kind of the same thing we've been trying to get people to not do for us when Tiger Woods was going over there taking over golf. To not judge by what you look like, but for what you're doing for the sport. If there were people that looked at Tiger Woods and say, oh my God, look who's coming in the clubhouse. And then 10 years later, everybody's eating because of Tiger Woods. Caitlyn Clark will probably have that same effect, at least the first couple of years. And guess what, WNBA? You haven't had any traction at all. Real quick, who won WNBA title last year? Nobody knows. I know some people, but you know what I mean. I bet y'all know this year. Who's the MVP 3 years ago, WNBA, nobody knows. I bet Caitlyn Clark comes in there. If she dominates, I bet you'll know then. So I just say embrace. Embrace. Don't be so quick to hate. And then last but not least, rest in peace to Rico Wade, man. Organized noise. If some of you don't have an idea, what he started up in his mom's basement down there, and pretty much the sound of the South. Even though a lot of people don't realize he co-wrote Waterfalls way before that. But you listen to early Goody Mob, early Outkast. He was one of the creators of that. And you probably listen to a lot of songs that you guys call old school and don't realize he was in that mix. So rest in peace, my brother. Shout out to his family. And yeah. So all those things talking about, let's get to the chat. I'm open for anything, to be honest with you. Throw a question in there. We're going to get it done. Let's get to it in here and see what we got. John Brooks in the house. Hey, what's up, Uncle Steve? Hope you're having an awesome Saturday evening. Okay, if it's Saturday, maybe it's Sunday. Okay, Marina says, happy Sunday, Uncle Steve. Rides up. Thank you, sir. David Starks in the house. What's going on, man? One of my partners in crime, Berto from 95 North Falcons Talk. What's going on, brother? He says, missing at sea. What's up, Unc? Happy Sunday. Yes, Lord, I don't want to be missing the sea. That's a story I have to tell y'all for in another day. Philip in the house. What's going on, Philip? How you doing, brother? Hal is here. What's going on? Happy Sunday night, Unc, and rides up. T. Walker's in the house. Happy Sunday, Unc, from Orlando. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. David Starks says 11 days to the draft, and rumors are that we've received calls about the number 8 pick. Do we trade out and pick up capital if said rumors are true, or do we stand pat? Happy birthday to your daughter. Thank you so much. Y'all appreciate that. Leah is her name, and appreciate you guys sending love to her. Absolutely. I wouldn't mind doing it, David. I mean, really, there's no horrible move the Falcons can make right now, in my eyes. It's really not. And I kind of dare anybody to tell me, unless you're just saying like you're doing a Ricky Williams and just giving up 7 picks for one guy. But other than that, it's really not. Michael in the house, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining me. And my brother Brian Davis is here. What's going on, Brian? Thank you so much for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Don't forget, y'all, so I'll come in, hit the like button for me for my friends on Facebook. Appreciate y'all joining us too. Hit that like button on Facebook as well. Philip Crawford said, I want to get your opinion on best player available. Is it the best overall player available or the best player available for this team's need? That's a very good question, because I would tend to believe, when you say best player available, I'm thinking they're saying overall. Now, if I were the Falcons, I would think about best player for this team. But I think when they usually say BPA, I think they're talking about overall, not so much for the team, in my opinion. And somebody else might have something different on that. So please, if you do, let me know in the chat. Jermaine is in the house. What's going on, man? Say, great show, Uncle Steve. What's up? Thank you. What do you think about trading back and drafting Quentin Mitchell? Now, I know that a lot of folks are thinking, now, I'm not sure if he's going to be available when you say trade back. And I'm just going by, let me see. I'm going by Quinyon Mitchell. That he might, somebody might sneak and get him early. I don't know. I know it had been pretty much between him. I see Terrion Arnold has moved up the charts as well as far as cornerback is concerned. I mean, if they give up the right package to us, Jermaine, I'll be willing to take a flyer on it. Why not? Why not? I guess my other guys kind of falling off the map a little bit. What's some guy from Missouri? Uh, can't remember what his name is. The other cornerback. Y'all remind me who I'm talking about. Atlanta Bird Gang is in the house. That's brother Tidy. Y'all make sure y'all check Tidy out on Atlanta Bird Gang on YouTube. Like and subscribe. And I didn't mention my buddy Berto on 95 North Sports Talk. Y'all make sure y'all give him a like as well. My brother Tidy will be joining me in our annual cross our fingers for the draft on day one of the draft to see who the Atlanta Falcons will pick. Y'all make sure y'all pull up, bring your beverage of choice as we toast in the newest Atlanta Falcon on that night. That's myself and Tidy will be in both of our platforms. So make sure you check us out. He says a quarterback isn't my first choice either, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. Probably we would be a good idea. We could avoid being in the post Matt Ryan predicament again. Absolutely. And what we should have done prior to that, we should have gotten our quarterback in 21. I know we beat that to death, so I'm sorry if that's the case. So, but yeah, that's why I say a quarterback wouldn't exactly. It would be a little shocking, but you can't really be mad at it, folks. You get a young guy who can learn under a real quarterback. As much as we dogged out our guy, he really didn't have anybody quality to learn from. So here's super chat in the house, and I didn't see this, man. My brother Greg is in the house. I know with Uncle Steve that we will always read. Read your super chat. Read your super chat. That's my brother Greg from Greg Custom Kicks. Thank you, Greg. We appreciate you, brother. He said, "What's up, Unc? Thank you." And all the Atlanta Bird Gang members on the feedback on the ATL Bird Gang Customs. Yes, sir. He has some custom shoes. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. I know on Atlanta Bird Gang, they have them up there. Y'all make sure y'all check them out. And for those of you on YouTube, go look up Greg on Greg Custom Kicks. I know he's on Instagram as well. So if you want your custom shoes made, especially those of you in Atlanta Bird Gang, get a chance to check those out. They look good. I could have told you that before. I have my pair. So I know what you're looking like. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Dondre in the house. Hey, Dondre, say, hey, Steve, what's up? Any word on Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree resigning with us? Are they holding back for the draft? Well, with Calais, I think whoever Calais goes to, Calais not going to sign till probably July. As far as a veteran is concerned, but he doesn't need training camp. Bud Dupree, I don't know. Maybe he could play that game too. But from Calais' standpoint, whoever he signs with, it's not going to be anytime soon. It's not going to be in April. Probably not going to be in May. He might hit that June mini camp, something like that. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need that time. So I'm not super concerned about him or Bud Dupree. I think we'll have the money. I know everybody's looking at the salary cap situation right now and say, "Oh my God, we can't sign draft picks." They'll figure it out. It's a lot of candidates that they can kind of restructure some stuff. I think they're just waiting for the right time to do some things. So Eric Parker is in here. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us in the lounge. David says one of the big three, Williams, Daniel, May, would have to fall. I still go back to the TCU tape on McCarthy when he was asked to throw the ball more than 30 times, 2 pick sixes, and some bonehead plays. I'm not a J.J. McCarthy fan, but it's very interesting that he's moved up past Michael Penix on a lot of boards. So is this Zach Wilson rise that we're hearing about with JJ McCarthy? I don't know. I didn't see anything from him in any of the playoff run that made me think he was all of that. Matter of fact, I saw Iowa team pretty much shut him down in the Big Ten game. So, yeah. Travis, what's going on, man? Say hey, Unc in the chat. If one of the top three quarterbacks begin to fall, teams are going to go crazy. We're in a good spot if someone wants to trade, but I wouldn't be mad if we drafted one of the big three at number 8. Now, if they fall to number 8, think about it. Even if the Falcons don't want them, even if Jaden Daniels, which I don't think he will, Jaden Daniels fell down to number 8, and the Falcons said, "Let me get him." Shoot, that could be trade bait. You never know. I mean, because it's not like you can look, we've seen trades happen after the player's been drafted. So that won't be the first time that's happened. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad, or Drake May. I wouldn't be mad at that as well. You can always turn that around. Barbara's in the house. Hey, Barbara. She said, go get Ayuk and restructure. I don't think Frisco's gonna get rid of Ayuk. I wish they could, but uh, they need to keep those weapons there with Purdy as long as they can. I don't see Ayuk uh, making that move, but it's a good pipe dream though. David says Strider is a big blow, but I think we'll be okay. But the pitching hasn't been good, and it's still early. And I think we overlooked Miami in anticipation of the series with Houston starting tomorrow. That could be true. And then it's also early, David. When you start talking about a baseball season that's 162 games long, it's too early to panic in April, but I am inspired by the bats. The bats have been one thing. Look, even we got toasted the other day by New York. I mean, we still scored 4 runs. So 4 runs in most games are usually winning it for you. But until we get the pitching straightened out, we do need to just keep praying that those bats stay hot. And I love our bats. Uh, David also says Tarasi has already put a target on her back. She's telling Clark to get ready because she's not getting any slack. Oh, not only is she not getting any slack, oh, they're going to be ready to play the hello rookie with her. And you know, there's no look, if you're going to bet on one thing ESPN is going to do, ESPN is going to have a documentary about her first year. Mark it down, write it down. They're going to have it. No doubt. No doubt. But she's right. Diana Taurasi is right. And they shouldn't give her any slack. She's going to have to earn everything she has. And I think, quite honestly, I think she's going to be pretty good. That Indiana team, along with Aaliyah Boston, that's going to be a team to watch. Barbara says, I know most women's college basketball players hate to leave as WNBA only averages 65,000 a year. Clark and Reese are millionaires out of college. It's crazy. That's why, Miss Barbara, a lot of people were thinking she might not come out. For her, Angel Reese, folks that are already stars in the college game, and you can still get that name, image, and likeness right now. It's a real decision. I think Paige Bucher's from Paige Becker's Paige Becker's from Connecticut. I think it was smart for her to stay. Try to get some shine for herself if Juju doesn't take it from her. But yeah, there is a serious thought about whether to do that or not. Matt Town Dirty in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you so much. David says the Aces won the WNBA championship. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Travis says the way NBA teams score now versus the 90s and the early 2000s, Defensive Player of the Year award, and all defensive teams are null and void. Pretty much. Yeah, somebody was, and I can't remember which guy it was. I was watching one of the podcasts, and it might have been Steven Jackson or somebody, and they were giving Draymond Green his props, but they were also telling him, "Yeah, bruh, in the 80s and 90s, man, they kind of would have laughed at you a little bit because he wasn't even Dennis Rodman. A lot of people make that foolish comparison and stuff. Dennis Rodman was a pretty good offensive player when he was with Detroit, if people remember. I know most people don't, but he really was. But yeah, defense is the only time you see some semblance of defense is in the playoffs. People kind of slow the game down quite a bit. And a lot of these young teams, the Oklahoma Cities, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Indiana Pacers, and teams like that. Oh, don't think you're going to run through the playoffs with the veteran teams like Boston and even the Lakers, as old as they are. They got a lot of veterans on some of those teams, and those vets going to slow the game down tremendously when it comes to the playoffs. So, yeah, you're going to see a little defense then. Antonio's in the house. What's going on, Antonio? Good afternoon, Uncle Steve. Do you get Future's music popularity? I honestly don't understand it. Yeah, a lot of people like Future. I'm kind of half and half about him. I mean, he's I he's okay. It doesn't. I'm not, waiting at midnight for his album to drop or nothing. Not a big Future guy. Out of the new school guys that I'm like now, and in some cases, I know when I say new school, probably like the last 5 to 10 year guys. And I'm a huge Tyler the Creator guy. Uh, I like Drake. Uh, I, I'm not, oh my God, Drake, but I like him. Um, but some of the other guys, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar is nice, but none of that stuff stirs. But again, I have to date myself, folks. Music is different than when it was back when I was like really ingrained in probably a little bit more of the alleged hip hop era. Now, to me, wow, I don't want to sound like that old man rocking on the chair, but a lot of it sounds the same to me. A lot of voice, a lot of stuff messing with your voice. A lot of the beats sound alike. When I hear people say, "Oh my God, he came out with a hot one," and I'm saying to myself, that didn't sound too much different than what I just heard from the other guy. So I don't know. But to answer your question, yeah, I don't get it either. Titus says a lot of peeps did root against Caitlyn Clark because she's white, and it's unfortunate to see. I enjoyed watching her do her thing. Because of her, I actually paid attention to women's college basketball. And here's the crazy thing: Dawn Staley did something that she didn't have to do. Matter of fact, we were on the ship uh, when we were coming back in. We were on the ship watching the national championship game. We were one of the, I guess, what is 18 million, whatever, that watched. And Dawn Staley, in a moment that she didn't have to, in a moment that she didn't need to, recognize the eyes that Caitlyn Clark brought to the sport. You would be foolish to sit here and think that it's the same. I was watching yesterday. Shout out to uh, Red, Rev, and the coach that come on Facebook as well as YouTube. Y'all make sure y'all check them out on Saturday mornings. I think they come on at 11, either 10 or 11 o'clock. And one of the questions was talking about Caitlyn Clark's effect. And one of the things Rev brought up was that the last time South Carolina won the national championship, 3.8 million people watched. Hear what I'm saying. 3.8 as compared to 18.9 after the growth and popularity of Caitlyn Clark. Folks, you don't have to like her. Nobody telling you to buy her jersey, but you better recognize who's bringing the money into your sport. And I'm not trying to, and I hope people understand when I'm making the Tiger Woods analogy. There were a lot of white folks that did not want Tiger in that sport. Believe me, what was the little chicken and watermelon guy? What was the guy talking about? Fuzzy Zeller. Yeah, that stuff still existed. But you know what Tiger did? Tiger kept his head down, kept it moving, and made golf one of the most profitable sports going now. Billionaires. Dudes back in the day pre-Tiger would win 3 events and maybe get $800,000. Now you win one event and you got 3 million. That wasn't because of Justin Thomas. That wasn't because of Phil Mickelson. And it dang sure wasn't because of Colin Montgomery. That was because of Tiger and the clash of cultures. It is what it is. It's not a slight, it's not a dig, but we all gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful when you do those labels. Caitlyn Clark is a great basketball player. I don't care what era you have. Because guess what? Even though they didn't have three-point shooting, back when some of the folks were playing, she still got to hit the shots. And they were hidden. So guess what? You would have been 1 point less. And I think even if you count up all the three-pointers and took 1 point off, she'd probably still be top 3. But the eyes on the sport, that's the most important thing. Barbara said in 2021, when we won the World Series, we were below 500 in April. I haven't panicked yet on my Braves. Huge blow, though, with the Strider news. And the great thing about the Strider news, even though it's still bad, he's missing the season, that they did not have to do Tommy John, which would have been a longer process. That being said, I'm still scared because being such a power pitcher that he is, I hope they really take his time because I could care less right now about him in 2024. Dude, rest up, do what you have to do, come back strong. So by the time we get to 2025 and 26, you'll be part of something special. I know Max Fried has come out to a rocky start. I think he pitched a little much better the last time, but we really, if I one thing about Alex Anthopoulos, he'll push the right buttons. Don't yeah, just like Barbara said, we don't panic yet. Lisa Shepard is in the house. What's up, Lisa? Said yes, RIP to Rico Wade. Absolutely. Dondre said that was a big hit to the city. Yes, it was. David's definitely a pioneer of the South. Yes, sir. Greg, rest in peace. Text to Cujo, Gip, and Timo with my condolences. Absolutely. Big time, man. Big time. Big time. Lisa said his music production put the ATL firmly on the musical landscape. Huge loss for the city. And again, he is truly one of the pioneers. He wasn't in front of the mic, but he's the one who had the access to the basement. So the folks who know. I knew who Rico Wade was before a lot of other folks because I used to pay attention. I pay more attention to writers and producers. I know a lot of people pay. Obviously you're going to pay attention to who's singing the songs. I'm a liner notes guy. Like when we used to have the albums a long time ago, as much as I loved seeing who was on the cover and who was doing the singing, I'm one of the people that gotta go look and see who was writing the song, who was producing the song. Those are the guys that you say, okay. As much as people talk about Al B. Sure when he came out, Al B. Sure was lighting it up behind the scenes. Babyface, as monster as he is, Babyface's money is writing. Big time. And I know he's producers too. But that's his money. Trying to tell you. So yeah, shout out, man. This huge loss. Robert says Caitlyn Clark equals Steph Curry. Just on a different level. Of course. And I understand that comparison. Especially when you're talking about the type of shooting. Now, is she gonna get bodied up a lot more? I hope she bulks up a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Because they're not gonna let her go running through there. But the one good thing about Caitlyn Clark, everybody keeps paying attention to the point score. Caitlyn Clark. Y'all watch some of them passes? Oh my God. Aaliyah gonna average 26. Easy this year. She's not a one-trick pony. She's a great assisting guard. So she's gonna do her thing. Dexter in the house. What's going on, brother? Y'all make sure again as y'all coming in, make sure y'all um like the stream for me on YouTube. Those of you on Facebook, if you're on Facebook and you guys want to make sure you check out our draft coverage, swing on over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe so that night when Toddy and I are kicking it off for the draft, you can join us that night. We usually start our broadcast about 15 minutes before 8. I'll get with him and kind of get things down pat. We'll usually do our thing. Speaking of Tidy, he's RIP to Rico Wade. He did so much for music. He really put Atlanta on the map in the rap world. Although Outkast gets most of the credit on the surface. Unfortunate loss. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. But as they'll probably tell you, in order for them to get to Staconia and Speaker Box, the Love Below, they had to start with the players' ball. You know what I mean? Before Goody Mob didn't dance no more, they had to start with cell therapy. So just one of those things that you just kind of get into. Philip says, do a mock draft. If I do a mock draft, y'all, it's going to be the saddest mock draft that y'all ever had. I'm probably not going to do one today. If y'all have, if there are enough people to say, do a mock draft, I'll do one, but I'll probably do it the Monday before the draft because I don't want to do multiple ones. And look, again, shout out to all the mock drafts out there. No disrespect, because I'll watch them. I watch a lot of the drafts, a lot of the mock drafts out there. Great ideas, great trade backs, great things like that. I'm just kind of one of those guys that say, let's just do it. Let's get to that Thursday and that first player. And with the first pick, Chicago Bears pick. Let's get to that. Titus says, I honestly dislike the BPA narrative. I think it's overstated and mostly GM speak. I think it is too. And it's something that probably riles up fans more than anything else. Don't take it so seriously. Yeah, I'm the same way. Dexter says, if one of the 3 top wide receivers fall to us, are you taking or are you drafting for need? I don't think no end is worthy of a top 10 pick. Me, I'm taking the wide receiver and hope a team cuts somebody after the draft. I was talking about it earlier, Dexter. Same thing with the quarterback. Look, if Rome Aduze is there at number 8, I think I'm picking him. I know we just got Mooney. I know we already have Drake. Why not? If Neighbor somehow slips down, which I don't think he will, I'll take him in a heartbeat. And while I'm talking about that, if Joe Alt happens to fall back, I take him. I take him and do what I did to what's my guy Bergeron. Maybe slide him over. Slide Jake over there. Tell Jake he can take a couple of plays off. Let's let Alt get in there. Or more importantly, put him on that right side where McGarry is not good against the pass. There's really so much you can do, Dexter. I agree with you. Why not? Why not? Henry, what's going on, sir? Say happy Sunday, folks. Hope all you are having a great one. You too as well, my friend. RJ Falcon is here. What's going on, man? Say happy birthday to your daughter. Thank you, and she thanks you. I'm sure she is enjoying her day, but I would like to ask you, with the current roster constructed, what do you think the biggest hole is for the defense? Right now, in my opinion, the biggest hole is the pass rusher, that edge rusher. We need that person. We haven't had a legit person at that position. Keeping in mind, I know we had Calais and Bud Dupree get the 6.5 off the ends last year. I get that. We need that downright takes two people to mess with him, edge rusher to help this team. Take some pressure off the linebackers and get to the quarterback. And that's what we need as far as my biggest hole is concerned. Now, RJ, kind of like Dexter was talking about, I'm not sure if Dallas Turner is the end all be all. Now, there were a lot of people that said Michael Parsons didn't fall into that category as well. Everybody wasn't on Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons didn't get picked at number what, 11? So we can't sit here and act like, oh man, we missed out. It's almost like the same thing with TJ Watt. Oh man, we missed out. Man, 10 plus teams missed out on TJ Watt. Wasn't just the Falcons. But you don't know what these guys are going to do till they hit the field. Now, could Dallas Turner turn out to be that guy? Maybe. He was impressive in the combine, but so was Zach Wilson a couple of years ago. So you never know. That's the hard thing about this thing, man. This draft, you just don't know. Are the guys gonna jump in there, or are the guys gonna take 4 to 5 years to develop? And just like we had to wait we tried to wait on our guy to develop.
I love Desmond.
Yeah, I thought I got rid of it, didn't you? You thought we could wait on him, but we really just couldn't. Yeah. Jamal, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge in the Sunday Chill. We're taking a potpourri of questions today. If y'all want to talk Falcons, want to talk Braves, want to talk Hawks. Notice nobody's talk Hawks. You want to talk about Caitlyn Clark, or you want to just talk about anything pop culture wise? Y'all know earlier this week they were talking about Beyonce has the most streamed CD of the year, and Taylor Swift is coming out next week. I said that record's gonna last about a month. Have y'all liked that? Have y'all got into the Beyonce country stuff? I like a couple of songs on there. I like the little things she did with Jolene and stuff, and the Texas Hold'em. That's not bad. 95 North. My buddy Berto said, bingo, Unc. I feel like they are going to wait to restructure also. I think they are. I don't think people need to panic about that. My buddy Alan Mike is in the house. What's going on, my friend? He said, Unc, I like Spencer Rattler. Shout out to Mike. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, Spencer Rattler, I don't have a problem as long as the Falcons have one developmental quarterback. And does developmental mean going up in the first round to get him? I don't know. Or second round? Maybe. But I think to sit on this team and say Kirk Cousins, Taylor Heineke, and not have a future person kind of bothers me. It's different when you had a Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, Logan Woodside. Because there really wasn't anybody that you say, ugh, I don't know. And I think Taylor played hurt last year. Not saying he would have did the job. Barbara says, Ayuk asked for a trade. Yeah, I know. He did. I think that price is gonna be high though. And I usually don't, we start thinking about players. I don't think Ayuk is a first round trade, but I think Ayuk is definitely probably a second rounder and maybe a second rounder for next year kind of guy. I know it would be interesting, but I think I would. Me personally, Barbara, I think there are better fish to fry. If you're gonna do something like that with a receiver, now if Justin Jefferson said, "Hey, let me ride over here with my buddy Kirk," I do that. But Anything else, I don't know. Got another super chat in the house. My brother Antonio is here.
Forever Atlanta. That's what we see. We're talking about this, talking about that, and chill with Uncle Steve.
That's my buddy Antonio in the house with the super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. Say, what's up, Uncle Steve? Hope you enjoyed your vacation. We did. Looking forward to this draft to fill in those holes. Latu or Turner at number 8. I agree. I could take either one of them. Either one is fine. I'll take either one. But there are also some other people too. I'm not gonna pigeonhole myself into just one person. If Dallas Turner doesn't get picked, I'll be all right, long as it's a good pick. If Latu isn't picked, it's all right, long as they get the right one. Joe Alt, fine with me. Trade back, fine with me. Fine with me. There are so many options for this team. Now I know I just said, well, Steve, you just said pick an end. Yeah, I did. But have any of these guys been talked about as monster takeover guys? They haven't. And if you're top 10, while don't get me wrong, if Dallas Turner gets picked, I think he'll start. But is he that disruptor that we're looking for? I don't know. I don't know. Latu, I'm worried about his injuries as well. But I don't know. T. Walker says, is there any chatter up there about the tampering penalty being this year or next year? I haven't heard anything. But I'm pretty sure if there is going to be something that they would probably let the Falcons know within the next 7 days, seeing as how the draft is a couple of weeks away. I know they're not going to spring the news on them on Wednesday, the Wednesday before the draft. I would imagine if I'm a betting man, I would imagine it would be somewhere in the next 5 to 6 days that they would let the Falcons know. Winston Thornton from the Eye Test is in here. Y'all make sure y'all check the Eye Test out with Winston and my buddy, John Harris, doing their thing. Thank you so much. He said, what's going on, Unc? And chat, smash that like button. And he is correct. I appreciate y'all doing that for me. John Higgins is here. What's up, Big John? Say, hey, Unc, got something going on today. Can't stay on, but good to see you and everyone in the chat. Good to have you here, my friend. Always good to see you. Drew says the tampering is dumb. First off, Cousins called them, not the other way around. Drew, I'm really confused about why it's a big deal. Because you call it legal tampering, right? They make a big deal about calling it legal tampering. Yet you still, have these little rules that, right, you can't talk to the trainer, which is the dumbest thing. Illegal tampering, you should be able to talk to the trainer, the concession guy, the parking lot attendant, the strength and conditioning guy. None of those guys are going to be huge factors in you signing that big contract. I think it's ridiculous, Drew, and you're absolutely right. It's dumb. Ron Smith in the house. What's going on, Ron? Thank you, sir. Drew says maybe an 8-9 year with Cousins. We'll see. I hope not. Carlos says, tapping in from a picnic in the park with my daughter. Carlo, you are a great man for doing that stuff with your daughter. Good job. You stay there and enjoy yourself and tell your daughter we said hello. Good job. Good stuff. Toddy says, Steve flossing about being on the yacht with his neighbor off the plane. Look, I wish I was on the yacht with him. I know we went to, I'm trying to think, what was it, Nassau? And they had some, they got the big cruise boats. And they had those little mini yachtish looking type things, man. I wish I could jump on one of them things. I wish I could. Oh, man. Kenneth Davis says, shout out to thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate you. Gats Boy in the house, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining us, man. We appreciate you. Thank you. The Birdcage, y'all, man, let me tell you something. Ryan hit it out of the park this week over at the Birdcage. Y'all make sure y'all check the Birdcage out. Birdcage LLC. They had the winningest coach in Atlanta Falcons history, Mike Smith, on the other day. He is a very good stuff from Mike Smith doing his thing, and thank you, Ryan, for bringing that to the content creator space, man. That's some good stuff you did the other day with the fellas. Appreciate you, man. He said, "What's good, Uncle Steve? Rest in power, Rico Wade. His music will live on. Absolutely. That's the one good thing about when folks pass on, man, their legacies will always be intact, and Rico's legacy is intact." David says, Kenneth Babyface Edmonds showed the world his true genius when he produced Madonna's bedtime story. That Take a Bow from that album, I think that's one of my top 5 songs from Madonna. He did a really good job, and he really doesn't get credit for that. Was Secret on that song? Ooh, someone had a secret. Was that on that too? I don't know. Maybe it was. We'll see. See what that is. Got another super chat in the house. Let me get this one on here for my boy. I know he.
Yeah. When you chill with Uncle Steve, you better come correct. We got your super chat. We got that head knock that make you break your neck. We got your super
my
chat.
brother Berto in the house. I had to get my last one in there. He said, I agree with Tidy. Leads me to believe Unc's on the payroll. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Don't be jealous because I get to eat those Biscoff cookies with Arthur Blank. And y'all need to think about Bigelow, man. Bigelow be the one that be on them yachts. That's not me. Y'all got the wrong one. Oh man, shout out, brother. Appreciate you, man. Drew said, who in here in Savannah remember Camouflage? Bro was about to get big before he got shot up. Yeah, that's what's my young lady's name? LSU? Flage. That's Flage's dad. Miss Flage at LSU, who quite honestly, in my opinion, was the best player overall on LSU's team this year. Yeah, Camouflage. I remember them talking about that a lot when she went on what was Jermaine's thing called? The rap game. Travis says Rico, Sleepy Brown, and Raymond Murray created a sound that has yet to be and probably will never be duplicated. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you. Absolutely. Drew says they didn't like how he rapped what was going on in the streets. He died too young. Yeah, a lot of people sometimes may not be ready for that. I mean, but it is what it is. Sometimes with things like that. I mean, sometimes you don't want to. I don't know. I'm not a glorification of violence type guy. I understand culturally that a lot of people relate to things like that, so I get the relatability. But each person has their own. I mean, that's why Will Smith was popular because some people were a little harder. You can have NWA, or you can have Will Smith back in the day. So you had your taste, and I like both, so it's all good. Matt Town says Verse is the man. A lot of people like Jared Verse. A lot of people think Jared Verse should be that guy. Jamal says, "Oh, I'm trading down if I'm in charge." There are a lot of people leaning towards the trade down thing. Lisa Shepard said, let's talk about the other Caitlyn Jenner. Did you see the tweet after OJ's passing? Caitlyn said, good riddance. Yeah, and listen, shout out to the family of OJ Simpson. OJ Simpson, folks, was one of the best running backs that ever carried the ball. There is nothing you can say about that. That is documented. That is on point. He is in the Hall of Fame, and he was a great player on the field. Now, that's a whole nother conversation when you start talking about what OJ's legacy will be. Uh, Folks, I hadn't seen a picture. I haven't heard a confession. So I ain't going to get into what happened and if it happened or whatever. You got to quit it. So it is what it is. But to wish somebody good riddance, you got to consider the source, folks. You got to consider the source. Yeah. Yeah. Caitlyn, former Bruce Jenner, kind of a bag himself. Yeah. So I wouldn't lose sleep over a comment from him. Matter of fact, probably the pot calling the kettle black in that particular case. Jamal says, I like a couple of the songs on Beyonce's album. Yeah, I did too. I did too. He said, funny, but Miley Cyrus has my favorite version of Jolene. She actually does. I've heard Miley Cyrus's version of that as well. Yeah, it's pretty good. False Start says, what's good? What's good, brother? Good to see you in the house. Alan Mike says, would you take Penix at 8, or is it just a smoke screen by the Falcons? Now, I know a lot of people heard that they sent the contingency up to check out Michael Penix. I don't think it's that far-fetched that they could pick him up. Now, would it be here's my only thing. If somebody is trading up in this draft, I don't think anybody's trading up to the Falcons' position to get anything but a quarterback. If they were to trade up to like number 8 or even the Chicago again at number 9. I so maybe the Falcons could be playing games. It could be a smokescreen. It wouldn't bother me. Antoine, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Drew says if they don't take 8th pick from us for tampering, fingers crossed. I don't think they're going to take the number 1 pick. I think it's such an innocent thing. I really don't think they'll go that far. I can see them taking maybe I can see them maybe taking one of the maybe that other 3rd rounder we got. I can see that. But hopefully no news is good news. And maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Sister alert. What's going on? Somebody else who just celebrated a birthday, my sister. Brigida Johnson says, hi, I just got online. When is the draft? 2 weeks from not this Thursday, next Thursday. I, of course, came in the final 4 for the women's basketball with the other bandwagon. Try Beyonce, but just like Renaissance, maybe 3 or 4 tracks. Back to JT's album, right? Justin Timberlake has a really good one out as well. We were talking about that uh, a week ago when it came out. That's some good stuff from him as well. Titus says, I know you're a big music guy. Do you think there should be some kind of official distinction between the streaming era and physical copies era when discussing achievements, breaking records, and history? I truly believe that, Tidy, and I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons why. Uh, One is so hard now to quantify uh, when you talk about people breaking streaming records of a song. Streaming does not pay near as much as the physical copy, and I really feel like the strength of artists is to get them to literally buy the album, to buy the download, not to stream it, but to buy it. When you start comparing it, I'm just making this comparison between Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Have at it for who's the best. In my opinion, I'm a fan in a certain way of both, but I could care less. Beyonce is a top streaming person. If you want to check out a lot of fans and sales, wait till Taylor Swift comes out with her album next week. Those Taylor folks are going to go out there and buy, and buy. Even if it's a streaming, even if it's available streaming, they're going to buy it. I go back to the original question you talking about the distinction between the streaming era and the physical copies. Um, to me, I think, and it's a different day, so I don't want to dog out today's generation. But to go out and get that Thriller album, to be at the store to get that Purple Rain album. When you heard of Thriller selling at one time at its peak a million copies a week. Those are that's a whole different generation, whole different time. So yeah, I think it's a distinction. And as far as singles are concerned, it's very much a distinction because nowadays on the charts, y'all ever get those times when they say, "Oh, Beyonce has all 10 top 10 songs this week." Well, back in the day, they only released singles one at a time. So when you see Drake has the record for 200 something hits, okay, like even the little intro is getting on the chart. Like little skits are making the top 100. Big distinction to me. Big distinction. Alan Mike, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. Brigida says, yes, Secret is on the bedtime story. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Joseph Evans in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Uh, Travis said his mama named him Bruce. I call him Bruce. Oh, man, y'all need to leave my boy alone, man. Leave my boy alone. Oh, man. Brigida Johnson said, let me put my 49-year-old hat on. These kids don't know the joy of standing in the line at Turtles and Sam Goodies to grab that copy when the store is open. And not only that feeling, but also that feeling of concerts. I harken back our cousin, and I'm sure you've heard the story 10,000 times, but my cousin and I during the total craziness of the Purple Rain tour, literally spent the night. And I would love to go back and see what the temperature was that night because it wasn't 70 degrees. But we spent the night at the Omni, the old Omni, spent the night to get Purple Rain tickets for a concert. Spent the night. And the only saving grace for that was back in the day, and that was back in, I want to say 84 when we actually spent the night there, was the first two shows. I think we were like we had to be like number one something. It was like 115 or something, whatever we were. The first two shows sold out before we got to the box office. And there were some people that left, but they were telling people, say, hey, hold tight, hold tight. They're going to add another show. And they added two shows and eventually added a fifth show. So Prince ended up being here for 5 nights. And I think we caught night number 3 here. But yeah, it's totally different now. So the back to what Tidy was talking about, the physical album sales as compared to streaming, it's just a lot different. It's a lot more accessible. Thank you, Napster, for giving everybody those ideas. But it's just a different vibe that you have right now when you start talking about physical album sales against streaming. So it is what it is. Folks, I intended to come on here an hour. It is a little bit past the hour, so I appreciate everyone joining us tonight. Thank you so much for being in the Sunday Chill with your Uncle Steve and Uncle Steve's Lounge. Appreciate it. As you leaving, please, if you haven't liked the video, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you all for joining us, and thank you all for being here and supporting the channel. Again, we'll be here about 11 days from now for the draft. Join me and Tidy here on the Atlanta Bird Gang and Uncle Steve's Lounge. We'll be doing the draft, and let's find out together what the Falcons are going to do. I think they're going to do some good things. Hopefully, you'll be around to check us out too. Until then, everyone have a great Sunday night. We'll catch you all later. Have a good one, y'all.